guys are new here, I have been living on a boat with my husband for the past 10 years. We've lived on multiple different boats and I can sail. I do not have the confidence sailing. And a couple weeks ago we had a scary situation with a hurricane coming. We were lots of sailing at night when we normally wouldn't sail. There were squalls and I just was so uncomfortable, and it led to stress and it led to me doing things wrong because I wasn't confident and comfortable. So the goal of today is just to do things again and again and just practice doing everything on my own. But if we are in a situation like that again, I just have more confidence, I guess. So you guys are gonna come with me.
But before we get to crushing my fears with sail practice, let's fill you in on where we are and what we've been up to. We're currently moored off downtown St. George's. We moved here last week so we could attend Grenada's Spice Moss, aka Carnival. We set our alarms for 4 a.m. so we could witness Jovert, a pre-dawn celebration that kicks off Carnival. Locals dance through the streets covered in paint, oil, and mud, symbolizing freedom and liberation. Jab Jab is a key symbol of Jovert, and it is a symbolic representation of the rebellious spirit of enslaved Africans who used Carnival to mock their colonial oppressors, turning the figure of the devil into a powerful symbol of resistance and cultural pride. No one escapes clean in this unique event, but we are so proud we could witness and learn more about Grenada's culture. These locals go all day and all night, 4 days, but we went back to the boat and enjoy the next event from the cockpit. When the sun went down again, we made our way back to land to check out Midnight Moss, which is a parade of dancing neon lights. Each truck or band has its own group of masqueraders with different themes and colors, and it was so much fun to watch. Other carnival events draw from the island's African and French heritage, but Midnight Moss reflects the ongoing innovation and creativity in Grenada's carnival culture. Last up for us is Fancy Moss, which is another parade through the streets, and good lordy, I would love to know how far all of these people have walked in the past few days. Miles, covered in oil through the night, and now wearing these beautiful heavy costumes. All I can say is it is so impressive. Okay, now back to sailing.
Gonna move on. There's a couple things we gotta do to get ready, like put away all the shade, put away all the towels and all the stuff we got laying around the boat, shut all the hatches, secure the bean bags. And before we do that, I gotta tell you about today's video sponsor, and that is Bottle and their new Hydro X bottle.
Drinking out of plastic bottles isn't great for your health or the environment. Bottle's Hydro X bottle makes living a healthier and greener life easier. The Hydro X is BPA and lead-free, made out of high-quality stainless, is dishwasher safe, and keeps ice for up to 12 hours, which you know is a huge plus for me. The other big bonus is it doesn't leak, so you can throw it in a backpack and not worry about getting your computer or other items wet. The Hydro X has a dual-purpose lid that can be used as a straw or for drinking straight out of the bottle, so no matter if you're a sipper or a chugger, your water can be drank just the way you like it. One of the coolest features is a small storage space on the bottom where you can keep medication, vitamins, or money. And if you happen to be one of those people that never knows where you left your bottle, you can even put a tracker in here so you can always find it. Check out the link in the description to see all the fun color options available in the Bottle's Hydro X bottle and use code Tula at checkout for a discount. Thanks for watching! We're free.
Okay, autopilot is on. We have, well, we did a second ago have enough wind to sail. Now it's only like 7 knots. That's not.
We can still do something.
Okay, well, we have nothing ahead of us that I need to worry about hitting. So I'm gonna go up front and attach the halyard. Okay. We always keep the sail bag cover on because the sun is so strong and the sun just ruins everything. Sails are super expensive, so we want to keep them in as good shape and protected as possible. And we store our halyard way back here because if we don't, it will like like hit the mast and just vibrate the boat, but also make just really annoying sounds. So we keep it far back so it doesn't hit, doesn't chafe. We're gonna raise the mainsail, so we're going to slow down a little bit. We're gonna head into the wind. Put it on autopilot when we're facing into the wind. The cameraman just gave a tip and he said, because I always have a little bit of an issue getting it directly into the wind, and then the wind changes a little bit, and then we have lazy jacks that go all the way up, so it makes it hard to get the sail completely raised without it getting stuck. So cameraman just told me if we set the autopilot to the wind and then set our angle to 0, then it will be a little bit more accurate and hopefully it'll go up smoother. Our sail's not even halfway up and I was getting a lot of tension, and I know the feeling, so I know something wasn't quite right, and I forgot to open the reefs, and all of our reefs were actually tightened because the last time we sailed it was for the hurricane, like all the squalls coming through it. So we just got to open this up and let them flow out and make sure nothing's getting tangled or caught. I don't know why this always happens to me, but we just got a storm. There was nothing, and it went from 9 knots to 20 knots in a matter of seconds. It just doesn't feel, okay, so I'm asking for your help because I'm not comfortable with it. I need to reef, but everything feels really tight.
We'll look at the sail and see what's going on.
Well, now we need to go, and all of our windows are not closed. So that's like the standard of what normally happens. I'm like so ready to go and like prepared for what I expect to happen, and then something totally different happens. Like I thought we were motoring, then we have enough wind, then we have too much wind for the sail that we were gonna put out, and then I'm just not good about thinking about what needs to be readjusted to change that plan and then go with it. So I guess that was good practice. We're sailing.
This is our boat. Which way are we facing? Okay, which way was the wind coming from? Yes. Your mainsail was up, right? Which is on the back of the boat. So it's controlling the back of the boat. So if the mainsail's up and tight, that's more wind pushing the back of the boat. See how it wants to push the boat into the wind? And your autopilot was trying to steer. So it was steering. The rudders are all the way over to port. But again, because the main was sheeted in too tight and we didn't have the jib out to help balance it, it doesn't matter. It overcomes the rudders. Does that make sense?
So if the jib was out, that wouldn't have happened?
Probably. So you could have done two things: have the jib out quicker, or have just sheeted the main out much quicker. Alright, so what we can do right now, go ahead, let's get the jib out.
Okay, we're gonna jive. Traveler to the center.
Alright, now we can jive very slow, so like, that's fine. You don't have to steer any more than that. The boat's gonna steer very slow. And then as soon as it jives, start to steer back.
So, ignore doing everything perfect. The things that could break something or hurt somebody.
Realistically, you're not going to hurt anyone on this boat by jiving.
But I
unless
could break
someone's standing on the cabin top. Yeah, so you can kind of break the boat both ways. But like, I guess if you want to put it in order, yeah, I guess sheeting in is slightly more important. But you have all the time in the world to hold the traveler to the center, so you might as well make sure you do both.
Who says I have all the time in the world?
When you're preparing to jive, generally, if you plan ahead, you have all the time in the world to prepare to jive. Before you jive, as you're preparing, pull the traveler to center. That's easy. Let's pull up into the wind a little, let's get the jib trimmed, and then we'll reef. Let's put the full main back up.
Okay, we're back to the original prediction of the weather today, and there's no wind. So we're going to turn an engine on just to give us a little bit of power.
So Sierra's doing a fantastic job of learning and practicing. Like a lot of the cruisers, couple cruisers who are out there, I don't know, I guess you have a few different kinds. Like some of them are actually just one person is the sailor and the other person's not really, and that's their roles. And like the person who's not a sailor, like I don't know, they can be all degrees of not necessarily the sailor. They can be like completely hands off, don't mess with anything, even on like overnights and stuff. Maybe they just keep watch, but if something has to be trimmed or reef or whatever, they wake the other person up who is a sailor. But I don't think that's very common. We've run into that here and there, and that's certainly not us. Sierra can do everything. She just wants more practice and confidence to do everything. But then there are others where it's more, yeah, like one person has more experience sailing and the other has a little bit less, and you know, just all degrees of that. And I think Sierra wants to be just like as confident and comfortable as she possibly can be. But we might fall into that category to an extent, only because I do have more experience. Sierra's always wondering why I'm doing things, why I might be trimming, or why I might be doing this or that. And like some things are easy to explain why I'm doing them, and like they're good for her to know and understand. I wish she like knew and understand everything. But some things I tell her, I'm like, look, you can spend a lifetime sailing and still have things to learn and have things to get better at. Already she's 90% of the way there, and it's pretty easy to get to like 80%, 90% of the way there to understand how to do everything and to be able to do it. She doesn't think she's 90, but I mean, I think she knows how to do pretty much everything. She just needs more practice so that she's more comfortable doing these things. I tried to tell her, I spend so much time thinking about sailing, and it's while we're doing it, it's after we're doing it. I mean, I started sailing on Tula over 10 years ago. I mean, I did start kiteboarding before I even started sailing Tula, and that was technically my first sailing experience, and it does help you understand wind very well. And then kind of as you get in from a sport like kiteboarding, where it's a lot of feel, and you get into bigger boats, it's a lot more of turning that feel into seeing it on a boat, or maybe feeling it in a different way, because boats are just a little bigger, a little slower to respond, whereas kiteboarding, it's immediate reaction to something you're doing. Anyway, when Sierra asked me these questions of what I'm doing, and like she doesn't quite understand why, or even if I explain to her, can't fully grasp why, a lot of it is so technical, and the only reason, sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing, just trying things out because of what I'm thinking or something I've seen or whatever. But again, like, you could spend a lifetime of sailing and trying to learn sailing, and still there's always something to learn, always something to get better at, always something to tweak or just get better. So it's like, it's a lifetime of learning. She doesn't always grasp some of the things that I'm doing, which is okay that she doesn't, but she gets frustrated that she doesn't. But I try to tell her, like, this is something, like, you don't necessarily need to know this to be able to sail, and if you do want to know it, and I can't think of a great example for you guys right now, maybe it's just a subtle trimming thing in a certain kind of wind conditions and wind angle, something like that. And I try to tell her, look, I spend so much time, like, it's while we're sailing, I'm trying to see the differences of what I'm doing when I'm doing this or this. And then even after we're sailing, kind of thinking about that situation and trying to understand it. How can that sail be trimmed the most perfect it can be. And then I might even be on forums or reading books or something to like just try to understand what other people do and just to try to learn. If you're not like fully thinking about all the time, really always trying to understand all the little nuances and stuff like that, then it's gonna be very hard to grasp like subtle things like that. So I don't know what my point is. I think my point is like Sierra, again, I think she feels like she doesn't have the confidence. And I mean, I agree, you could always have some more practice, and that's great. It never hurts to practice even the basics. And I think maybe some of her lack of confidence is seeing me do other things and not being able to fully understand those things. And I think that's okay. I think if you want to be a better sailor, you do need to practice. And then if you want to be like an even better sailor, you do need to just be thinking about it. Be thinking about what the next steps are. Be thinking about how is that sail trimmed correctly? How could I trim it better? Is that sail trimmed correctly? How could I trim it better? Because like even just trimming, they could almost always be trimmed just a little bit better. And some people just aren't like that. Like generally speaking, cruisers aren't necessarily like that. Like if the jib is luffing a little bit and whatever, like the most cruisers are just fine with that. They're going the right direction. They're going at close to the speed they want to be going at, whatever. And that's totally fine. And just, I think it's my personality to be just, again, like maybe just take it to the extreme a little bit and just try to be really, really good at it.
Which I think makes it a little hard for me. They could be correct, but in your mind, they're not.
Yeah, that goes into the point of maybe what, like me doing some things a certain way reduces Sierra's confidence in things, and I try not to. I really try, and as time goes on, I try even harder and harder not to correct her on like the too technical things. Like just let her get 90% of the way correct, and as long as we're safe, the boat's safe, and like it's not damaging anything, then just let it be. Like if that sail is luffing a little bit, then that's fine if that's where she wants to get it, and just let it be. But a lot of the times you do want to get it perfect. You always impress me. So I think that's important, especially when someone is like really super tuned into the sailing and trying to do it like the best it could possibly be done and stuff like that. I think it's really important not to press that onto someone else. And again, like I think that's a little bit of a struggle for me, but I'm very aware of it, and I try not to. I really try not to make her do things the absolute most perfect way possible. There's a lot that should just be done correctly, and I feel like it's a fine line, but yeah, I don't know. Does that make sense? So I do try to get her to do things like, again, just properly, just correctly, properly, and then I think from there it's just a matter of practicing that. Especially in conditions like this where it's super calm, the consequences are very low. Let her do things wrong. My concerns are our safety, and then the boat's safety, and then like just breaking things that gets annoying and expensive if you break too many things. So as long as those things aren't happening, especially in calm conditions like that, it's fine if she does something wrong, and try to let her figure it out on her own as much as she wants to until she asks me or whatever, or I don't give her the answer, and then she gets mad, and then I give her the answer. And I think that's good. And I think that's how people learn too. Like I think that's a good way of learning is letting someone. Oh, we got some birds. We got some lines out. We're just motoring right now until the wind comes back decently, which it looks like it's going to. But yeah, we got some birds, so hopefully we catch a fish. Hope that makes sense for you guys. That's the way I view it all.
We are at very different skill levels, but in order to help, I think, each other is me go and do that research on my own. So when we do have days like this where I can practice, or like really rough days where we have to be out because of a schedule or whatever, I can start learning that basic understanding, but you also need to continually practice letting the correct thing be correct, even if it's not the most perfect way. Does that make sense? Both giving each other something. We're gonna drop the mainsail because we have this storm coming, but we also have birds diving. So since we're not trying to get anywhere, we can try to fish, and we can just go around in circles while there's potential for fish.
The storm's just like me. Let's just hope the fish like the storm.
Are our lights on?
No. Yeah?
Anita.
Are you sure? Chunk it? You want a chunk? Yeah, sticky bonita. Fish's scale. We're trying to chunk for tuna, but we have no idea what we're doing. We got some new toadfish reels and rods. Feels smooth. We have the wind back, so Sierra's sailing again. Man overboard!
Broad reach. I don't have an extra person. Jetty, keep an eye on Billy. And now I want to go downwind. I don't think I went far enough away
Why?
because I'm not having enough room to turn all the way.
Well, are you turned all the way?
Yeah.
Well, what can you do to allow the boat to turn more? You're right next to the control.
Let it out.
What?
The main sheet.
Why?
Because now we're on a broad reach, not a close reach.
Yes. And what
I
happens?
might, hold on, I might have enough.
Still, if you have time, still good practice to do that because you're completely not properly trimmed, and that will help give you better boat control. Watch where you're steering to and watch where the wind is.
I don't want to hit you.
Oh, you fully just ran me over.
I did?
Yeah.
You gotta do it again. See, that's why I don't like messing with the main sheet, because now I have to focus on this and I can't see where you are.
I mean, it's only if you have time and you're comfortable. I mean, I think the technique is good, but I don't know how you do it decently well without trimming the sails. Because again, especially when it's windy, you're gonna have a hard time steering downwind like that. You could make it easier on yourself and just leave it sheeted out for the most. I guess you have to tack. I don't know. Whatever you think. You know I get cold and I'm afraid of sharks out there by myself. Are you?
If you were alive, you could have grabbed the thing.
I think that was try number 3, but I'm not counting.
Let's go again.
You gotta admit this is good practice.
It is. I'm angry at you for falling off.
It's not my fault, you pushed me off. Yell tacking.
I'm alone. Who's am I gonna hit? Tacking! You abandoned ship. You left me to figure it out on my own. You trusted me enough that you jumped off the boat and now you think I can come back. But it's been 3 times already and you might have already been eaten by a shark.
The buoy is me, by the way, if you guys haven't gotten that already. Oh!
I still can't reach.
Well, am I knocked out?
Yes, that's why I would have gotten you last time if you weren't knocked out.
So if it was me, I would have had the buoy on that side of the boat.
I'm getting stressed.
Why?
Because I'm killing you. You're dying.
Only if my head's face down. Well, I'm dead already if my head's face down and I'm knocked out.
You're right. I forgot we had two wheels. It's so much easier to see on this.
I mean, at this point, you don't need to recover my body. Just tell them you got it, and we'll have a closed casket. It'll be fish food. Just pretend it's Jetty this time, not me.
If you were on the boat and it was Jetty, I would jump off with her. So when you come by, because you're so good, you could throw me something and grab us both.
You better yell or speak louder than you normally do, because otherwise it's both of you, and I didn't hear you yell that you're jumping off the boat.
Did you hear me when I said there was a fish?
Barely. I heard you say something. Sure you can see me still?
It's getting dark. I'm not going to be able to see.
That was like 18 boat lengths.
Because I'm not moving fast enough, or if I don't do enough, then I don't have enough time to turn.
How nice is a self-tacking jib?
Really nice. You're gonna have to be tethered in the boat at all.
Focus.
So I'm not understanding what you're telling me I need to try to do.
Pick me up on the other side.
So I need to turn before I get to you?
Yes. Now come to the other wheel.
But now I'm not even feeling I killed you. Are you kidding me? No!
Billy! No! If I was conscious, now I'm unconscious. Woo! Ow, 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 ow.
Just so you know, if you fall overboard, I will kill you when I get you back. If I ever get you back.
Pull it up, let's see my beautiful face. Ooh.
Guess what? Your turn.
Alright, film me. Man overboard, Jetty. Watch Sierra. Don't take your eyes off of her.
Good job, Jay. You forgot a step. You're also supposed to throw the buoy.
Yeah, I threw that already. You missed it. Tacking! What, you think I'm not going to make it through this
I see
tack?
such confidence, which I love because you're great, but the evil part of me wants you not to get it.
First try.
That's why you're in charge.
Yeah, so don't second guess me all the time.
Can we be done now? I'm tired. Good job.
Good job to you. You got me eventually. Well, my body.
It only took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
It's been too long. Won't you come back to me? If I did you wrong, I'll make it right, you'll see. Back to my arms. I would give anything if you would give your love to me. All of this time, I wandered so aimlessly. But when you were mine, that's how it ought to be. So won't
Oh, wow.
Are you so tired and so hungry?
Yeah, are you?
That was a lot of work. I don't even feel like we did much, but it was exhausting. But I guess we were out there for like 8 hours.
Was it that long?
Yeah, we left at 11. We got in at 7. Too bad it's not tuna. We attempted to use the bonita to catch more tuna, but we didn't. So burgers it is.
It looks so good.